recording. Okay, so today we will be working on our final assignment, which are the elevations. And so there's two. So basically we need to do what is a north elevation. Just scrolling down, we can see the other one is an east elevation. Let's just go see in CAD what this gives us. So right here is our floor plan. This is kind of a work in progress plan. I'm just going to move it slightly up to provide some distance between my section and the floor plan. But what you can see is that this may be your first time doing an elevation, and sometimes it's a bit confusing because I believe Project North points up. So basically this is north is up, east is to the right, south is down, west is to the left. So if you're doing a north elevation, it doesn't mean you're standing on the north side of the building looking at it. It means you want to see, you want to be looking north at whatever face of the building happens to be there. So you need to be standing south of the building, looking north towards it. So basically this is the north face of the building. So this will be one elevation, and the other one is, let me just check here again, was it west? East elevation. So the other one will be an east elevation, which is us looking at the house this way. So to get started, if we look at, let's start with what I believe will be the easier of the two, because this is very similar to the section we did. Let me just zoom in a bit more. Okay, north elevation. So we need to draw, so to be able to pull this off, we need our floor plan to give us the outline of the house. That gives us all of the horizontal distances. Then we need the vertical distances, but I think we already have all of this done in our building section. We just don't have the material treatment on the outside. So what I will do is I'm just going to confirm, we know we've drawn this already in our floor plan, and we know that's correct. So all I'm going to do is look at the floor to floor heights to confirm they're what we have in our section, and if it is, we can just start from there. So top of first floor to top of second floor is 2707 and then 2456. So let's go down here. Annotate, I'm going to grab a dimension line. .2706, I believe that's close enough. We may have been off by a few decimal points somewhere, but not a big deal. And then here it is 2506, but even if this dimension is wrong, I'm fairly confident that what we are doing here is correct. But it'd be nice to confirm. 2469. So we're a little bit off, but I believe we are correct. So what that means is that we can basically copy this entire drawing and I'm going to copy it so it stays perfectly in line, because I still may need to copy some windows and such for the facade treatment from our plan. But I'm going to put it right there. Okay, and it still lines up with my plan. Now, first thing I'd like to do, we have a whole bunch of detail in that drawing that we first of all don't need, and we need to replace it with other stuff. So the first thing I'd like to do is draw the ground level, and I'm going to delete all of the detail. Well, no, I'm not going to delete that, so I'm going to simplify the details just so I get the footings. And that's it, and I'll show you those in a dashed line. So to do that, I need the ground level line. And it looks like that is at the floor level. So what I'll do is go back to home, grab a line, and strike it, let's say here, for now. I'll extend this all the way through. And if there is a layer that I can associate with this, I will. Do we have a ground floor? We have landscape, shrubs. landscape driveway. Doesn't look like it. So let's go, oh, landscape site. Sure, I'll go with that. Okay, so now I can actually zoom into the bottom here and start to show only the stuff that I want. So I'd like to have the footing down here. So we're no longer going to be showing the entire chimney because we're not cutting through the house. So I'm just going to offset this into the width of the basement wall. But we're going to show that. We're going to show the footings at the bottom all the way through. There's a step footing happening there. So let me see the distance of my other foundation wall. I'm going to basically say offset from the outside of this to the structural part, so just the concrete block, and that's the distance I'm going to offset this. Trim it above ground. I can delete all of this. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to delete all of that. I'm going to delete all of this. Same with this detail. That took out more than I wanted to. Okay. I'm going to replace this with just a line. Okay, now for the footings down here, I'm not going to worry about this column footing or anything else. I'm going to delete the entire floor. And I'm simply going to stretch this footing all the way across. So what I can do here is I can actually delete everything except for that outside wall line. All of this can disappear. And now what I think I'll do is I'll just mirror this. So as long as I can get an accurate line that gives me the center point, I can even delete this and just mirror. Something went wrong there. How come this one is off a little bit? I'm going to try that one more time. That looks better. Okay. Extend these lines. I guess in this case I'll fill it. Okay. So we have essentially this bottom part here. I guess there is no column, so we're going to have to improvise a little bit on this side to show a step footing. That's fine. And somewhere here in the middle, we have a window well for a basement window, so we'll have to show that. Sorry. It doesn't quite tell us where it is in the layout. So we have to figure that out. We know it's gonna be, maybe we'll draw that in after. We'll know it's gonna be between these windows, so we'll get those top windows in first. But before we proceed, I'd like to resolve this step footing detail. So we know this goes down, should be down 1.2 meters. We can draw our footing up to there. And then at the edge of the garage, we should start stepping down into 600 by 600 increments. So that's how we'll knock that out. So I believe, just want to confirm that's 1200. Yes, it is. Okay. So I think this is what we're going to do here. Let's just confirm the ground level for the garage. Now they're going from the main floor level, 1200. That's not correct, but that's okay. We'll do that as well. So I'm gonna knock this out. Let's just see this one more time. They do provide a footing there, okay. So I'm gonna delete these hatches first. It's getting a little bit annoying. It's freezing as I go, okay. I'm gonna knock this out, delete, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna extend these lines for the footing so I know what level that's at, and that way I can start to delete the existing stuff. That's where my footing will go, and then I'm just gonna draw 2 lines here. For my wall, and now I can delete all of the rest of this stuff so it doesn't confuse us. Okay, so fillet, multiple, okay, extend, there we go. Now, here, oops, sorry about that. Here we can knock this out. I believe we don't need that wall. But around this point where the garage occurs, we should start to step up in increments of 600. So what I'm going to do here is first I'll extend the existing footings we have. Okay, and now let's just confirm the height difference. It should be 1200, hopefully. 1200, perfect. So I'm going to say offset 600. Okay, and then I'm going to offset 600 from here. Select this distance and offset that here. And so this may look a bit messy. In fact, I need to do one more thing here. Like so, offset one more time, and this has to offset. Okay, now it looks a bit messy, so we have to start cleaning this up a little bit. We can delete this guy. Let's do fillet again. Multiple, and I'm just going to give it a zigzag. Basically I'm just creating a zigzag, that's all, for this stepped footing. There it is. We've created this stepped footing, and the reason for that is because this is, I believe, this is obviously because there's a window here, a living basement. So this is a basement you can walk inside, but under here there is no basement under the garage. So our footings are only 1200 millimeters under the soil, but this footing still has to be connected to this one, so you use a step footing. Sometimes you can do a slope. There's a whole bunch of patterns you can use, it doesn't matter. The point is, that's why we are connecting these two together. So, now that I have that done, I can make all of these, well, except for this one. I think I want to shorten that a little bit. Come on. To there, okay. Line. All the way down, and we're done with the bottom part. And now I can make it all a dashed line. Maybe not hidden, maybe dashed. There we go. Looks a little bit small to me, so I'm going to type in LTS. And it's set to 5. I'm going to set it to 15, maybe 25. There we go. This doesn't need to be dashed. That's my ground level. So I'm going to set that back to, oh, it's on site. Okay, I'm going to set it to 0 for now. There, that'll fix that issue. Okay, so we have the basement, and now we need to start kind of adding detail, splashing detail onto the rest of the house. So before I continue, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep the outline of the home, and I'm going to delete as much of the interior as I can because it's just getting in our way. So we have to do a kind of a precise cleanup job before we can proceed. I'm going to knock out everything here except for my ground level. Delete, because remember, now we're looking at the house from the outside. So delete this. I still want to keep the outline of my chimney though. So I am going to copy that to wherever it needs to go here. I can delete all of this interior detail. Or as much as possible without losing the outline. I want to keep the very edge outlines on hand. Because that's what gives me the outside of the house. I don't have to redraw it then. No worries, all good. So still just cleaning up, going around. That we can clean up later on. It gives us the outline. Good. None of these, we don't need these rafters anymore. Let's get rid of those. Okay, none of these guys, gone. Any double lines up here can get dealt with. Always keep the outside line. Remember, we want the outline of the house. Okay, now I think I'm going to keep this roof line here, because that may, the bottom of this line of the garage roof here, because that might be useful. Okay, and now we can get going. So this roof, okay, first thing I got to do is I need to pick a place to start. We could start with this, and we will, but before we do that, let's just consider this garage. So this garage roof, it has an overhang on the right side. Looks a bit larger than what we have drawn, but we've gone according to the plan, so we'll stick with what we have. And it has an overhang on this side as well. This looks like it's the column at the door entrance. So it looks like this garage roof is mirrored, or at least is symmetrical, if you consider the exterior side of this column line, and obviously the exterior wall on the other side. The roof is centered on that distance. So I want to now outline where the heck this column is in my drawing. But I don't have to start looking at distances and measuring stuff anymore, because this is important. This is going to save you a lot of time. Remember, we've already done that work. Well, kind of. I thought I had the column on this drawing, but maybe I don't. Okay, I'd have to go back to the floor plan to find it. So maybe I do have to do that. So hang on, guys. I'm just going to duplicate this quickly. Okay, close that. I think our floor plan was, what, lecture 4? That's it. So where's that column? Okay, wrong drawing. Okay, so it gives us the column here, I believe. So from the edge of the garage, the column is, doesn't quite give it to us. Not great. Column 75 outside diameter. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess here. If you guys must already have it because you've drawn this, but it looks like the outside of the column lines up with the inside of that wall. They are saying that it's a 75 millimeter diameter, but I'm gonna offset for break as well, so 90 and then 75 and then 90 again. So this would be a little bit cleaner if I had finished my floor plan, but in this version it's not quite done. Okay, so that's the outside of our column. This is the inside of that column. Okay, and we should, just so it's going to make our life a bit easier, I am going to draw a line here for this ground floor, sorry, for the second floor. Sorry, I'm just getting an urgent call here at the third time. Okay. So I'm going to add these lines so I can tell where my ceiling height is, for instance, so where the bottom of the rafters is and where the top of the second floor is. I think that's going to be useful. Let me check on the elevation here. It'll be kind of useful in us knowing where the materials and stuff are, and knowing, for instance, where that column finishes. Maybe not actually. The column finishes at the bottom of this level. So if I extend this out to here, I can now trim the rest of this. Now I believe what I could do is I can extend this line to here. Shorten this line to here. And now we have a line that kind of defines the center of the roof. So I can mirror what's happening here in the middle of this line. Okay. Now this, so we have our roof outlined here, but now this comes down a little bit. And now our roof ends, this looks a bit off. So we'll keep going. Whatever we've done is based on previous decisions, so we have to go with it. Essentially we're trying to find out how far down this comes into this roof. And we can determine that out. I don't know if we have the necessary plans to do it. We need a second floor plan for that. We can assume this is here. I'm just going to try to draw this is going to be a little bit abstract, but I'm going to sketch the slope of the roof on the plan. And I'll give you the distance at the end, so in case you don't follow what I'm doing, we'll end up on the same page. So we know this is the length of that roof, and from this drawing it's a 1 in 3 slope. So I'm going to go back to here at 3,000, negative 1,000, okay. Now we know it's not actually a peak roof, but this gives me enough to go off of, so that if I draw the corner of the house where I believe it ends up, I guess this line defines the corner of that second floor. Okay, this will tell me how high from the base of that roof I have to offset. So let's say 1,040. So in other words, what I'm saying is this. I think if I offset 1040 from here, that will tell me how far down this should go. So this is what our roof would end up looking like. Like so. So in other words, what I do is I offset 1,040 from the base of this roof to get that line. Okay, so now I can kind of just clean this up a little bit. Don't think I quite need this right now. I'm going to have my eaves trough there. Yeah. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. Let's say the eaves troughs are 10 centimeters or how much? Yeah, 10 centimeters seems enough. So minus 100 by 100. Fillet radius, let's say we're going to give it a 25 radius. You can shape the profile of these however you want. It's kind of an aesthetic choice. Oh no, okay. Fillet, radius, 0, multiple. That's what I'd like. Okay. Now, since the eaves trough continues along the long side of the roof, I'm just going to extend it, these lines, because they're going to cover a bunch of stuff. Extend that. I can trim all of this stuff now. Okay. Trim that. I can kind of mirror this. I'm not going to mirror it all the way because I'm going to move it into place on my own. But if I keep that outside line, I can kind of delete all of this and just move this part in based on that line. And then I don't have to do that detail work again. Maybe I messed that up. Let's try that again. Okay. This needs to be trimmed a little bit. Fill it. This to there. These can be deleted and the other lines can be extended. Okay. And so our garage is slowly coming along here. I'm ready to do some hatching on the roof. So I can go to wall pattern, hatch, I'm going to look for the cedar shakes or whatever it's called. This looks pretty good. I'm going to grab that one, throw it in, maybe give it a 1.5 scale. Nope, that's 0.5. No, maybe 1 was fine. Up to you. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so we've got our hatch there. Actually, it looks like they have a slightly nicer one. Okay, I'll spend one more second on this and just look for a better hatch. They have this one. There we go. Now, I'd like to get the garage doors in. And so to do that, I'm just going to start drawing lines. Okay, copy. There, so I know this is where my garage doors land. And from this drawing, I wonder if it gives me all I need is a height. It does, maybe here. Section of overhead wood garage door, 2745, weight by 2158 height. 2158? Let's get that 2185 maybe. So now I can go back to here, offset 2185, That's going to give me the height of the garage door. There we go. And now I can kind of just I can even have a little bit of, you can, you know, as far as AutoCAD goes, you can have a little bit of fun. And let's say we do a polyline here, and you can kind of design the door however you want it to look. So I'm just going to grab a polyline and do this upside down U shape. I can delete my guidelines now, and because I did a polyline, I can offset, let's say by 50 or something like that in, and then I can start to create just break lines for where the door folds. See what the distance, oops, what is the distance here? 107, 1067. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 folds, whatever. We'll have our own number of folds. So 1067 divided by 2 is 530, let's say 533. I'm going to offset it this way, offset it that way. Done. Do they have a handle on theirs? Maybe. No, they don't. Good enough. And now I can copy this door just over to the other door location like that. I can delete the guidelines. Now it looks like I have less vertical space here than they do. Not sure how that happened, but again, we're here as a product of the decisions we've made along the way, so we can investigate it. But in this, so anyway, that may be worth looking into. Maybe I've made a small error somewhere, but for now, I trust you guys know how to investigate that. We've had errors before, and I showed you how to locate them. But for the sake of continuing and showing you new stuff, I'm going to keep going. So I've outlined where those vertical soldier course of bricks goes. So now I can do hatch again. This time I'll just pick vertical lines. If they have it. Sometimes they don't. They have only diagonal lines. So in this case, I'll set the angle to -45. Hopefully counteracting the fact that it's vertical. Let's give it a larger scale, 100. Maybe not. Let's try 50. And I think the angle, let's try 45 degrees instead of -45. There we go. Let's try 40 for the scale. Pretty good. I'll do the same on the other side. That's our soldier course. Then I can do some horizontal lines for the actual bricks. And I'm just going to bring one more line down from my plan, which is the line for this corner of the garage. No, that's going to be on Thursday. Yeah, no problem. Oops, what happened here? Trim the extra parts off, get rid of all the rest, keep it clean. Okay, let's hatch again. This time I'd like it horizontal, and I'm gonna just switch the scale to 30. Let me just see how that looks. That looks a bit better. And so we've got our bricks. Okay, so we've got the garage part done. There's little details you can still add in. I'm not going to slow down through those now, but you can draw these little lights in and things like that. You can draw stuff in. I trust you know how to do those kind of details. We're basically doing them by eye, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Next, I'm going to strike a line in line with our eaves troughs going across the house, because that's going to give us this material transition. Okay, so from where we go to bricks to vertical siding. And then I'm going to start looking for the windows. The bay window continues across both floors. So as long as we put those lines in, we can extend it all the way to the ceiling joist line. This window we'll have to guess, but this window we should not have to. So let's get our bay window in first, I think. I'm just going to copy, I guess I'm going to copy it from here. That's where the actual joints of the window are. Okay, that's our bay window. And I believe we need to carry it up to where we have our ceiling joists. So I'm going to copy this line. Just need a point against which to copy it. I'm going to pick the peak of the house. I know that's identical on both drawings. There. And so here I'm going to trim this, get rid of that, trim below. Okay. Now what does the peak here? So it looks like there's a little bit of an offset, let's say 100 millimeters. Then they've got some eaves, so that's another 100 millimeters, and then they follow the same slope, 1 and 3. So what I'm going to do here is trim this. That's kind of the tower of my bay window. Switch all these to exterior wall. Okay. They do have a little bit of an offset out at the edge of it. Now since they don't give us that dimension, I'm again going to guess it's 100 millimeters. So 100 millimeter offset, 100 millimeters for each trough, and then 100 for that offset at the edges. Fillet, multiple. There, something like that. Oops. Extend this. Okay. Now we know the slope is the same, so I can freely copy the same lines as we used for our roof. And once I trim that up to find the center point, I can simply connect these lines. To find the other slopes. Okay, so we have our tower there. Now we need to get our windows in. And it looks like this window starts 442 above the level of the door. Concrete steps up 2 at 150 risers. So that looks like it's 300 millimeters up. 1, 2. Maybe we should just draw the door now as well. So offset 150. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll get to that detail later. But somewhere in here are those stairs for the door. Okay, so that's in there. Now I could extend this line through my bay window My object snap is just giving me a hard time here. There we go. Okay, and that bay window is 412 above that. So offset 412. Okay, so that's where our bay window starts. And the schedule should tell us how tall it is, but we have a dimension here anyway, 1862. So it's 1862 high. Okay. Quite tall. Again, we're having some issue with our roof here, but that's okay. Now we can draw our window. So it looks like it has a sill underneath it. In fact, that sill looks very much like this up here. So I'm just going to turn this into a rectangle. Okay, move it. Move it to there. Now I don't need this. Okay, this window looks like it has a couple of offsets in, let's say 50 and 25, and then it's just divided into 3 columns. So I'm going to go back to here. Offset 50. Okay, delete this outside one. Offset 25. Now I need to divide this distance into 3. What do we got here? 1144. So 381 approximately. Okay, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows here, which means we need to divide this into 5 segments. Okay, so back to here. Oh. Okay, 1712 divided by 5. 342.4. Well, yes. I can see if there's any ideas what I've done with before, so I can I haven't had a chance to see what the sections are. I think some are, I think there's like an instruction segment, and then log line out. So probably it makes sense to teach the lesson during the instruction segment. And then whoever else, I don't know if it's divided like that, but I'll check to see if one of us has the short section and the long section.
We're going to make a call because I'm going to have 15 section before the one we can close later. So by the time I'm going to come back, it's up.
Does it show which one of us is assigned to which
Just
section?
say,
It does.
I can say the name to go through,
Okay.
and then put the first name, so we do that. So, I'm here, I'm gonna do lots of more. So if you're in the middle of something, you can,
Yeah.
comment, so finish it, and then,
see you upstairs? First floor, where is that?
in the office. Now I'm gonna grab some of the lab and, just do the marking to the.
So I'll be in touch when you're ready.
Yeah, sure.
I'll just look around your room for you.
I'll come the other one, should be on the. But yeah, just message me on team or something, I can see you in this room if you want.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I just wanna make sure before I forget.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so we'll finish copying this window here. We've got the panes in. And now these other windows will be a similar thing, but just a condensed version of that. So what I'm gonna do, I think what I'll do is I'll just first of all copy this. And I'll offset 50. This doesn't have to be perfect. I know if you start looking at perspectives and angles, these offsets would be slightly different. But it's really it's to give whoever's looking at the drawing a good idea of what the building will look like. It doesn't have to be accurate in an elevation like this. On an angle, the angle doesn't have to be down to the millimeter. So these side ones have only one division. So what I could do is draw a line down the middle. Copy this. I messed that up. Trying to trim here. Trim. There we go. Okay. We have that. Now they do have this diagonal line on the elevation. This line, and that just shows that the window opens. So where the center point is, the point at which those two diagonal lines converge, that's the pivot point of the window. So you can open it this way. So I'll draw that line in right now, just so we don't have to copy it later on. Now it's, because we're going to mirror this window to the other side. Okay, there we go. Mirror. Let's grab this whole thing. Done. Okay. Let's see here. That looks okay. That looks okay. Now I think we just simply copy this up. The height is slightly different. 1530. So we'll do a bit of trimming, but otherwise we'll copy it. Well, let me just see how high above this one it is. So 433 plus 700. That's 1133. So offset 1133. Okay, copy. You can grab all of this, unselect these things. Okay, and now we know it's a little bit shorter. 1530. Offset 1530. So this roof looks like it's a little bit higher up than we have it. So first things first, I'm going to offset 25 down, okay, and shrink these rectangles. This is going to have a new center point now. We'll deal with that later, I guess. Okay. These lines can be brought down. I'll mirror this again so I don't have to redraw it. Okay, now this looks a little bit tight above here. Here they're showing it has a 226 space, so I'm going to move it up a little bit. Maybe to there. Extend these lines. These can now get they can disappear. Same with this one. Now, this doesn't have any surface treatment, so it's wood siding, but they don't really show it. So we can leave it blank for now. But it would make sense now to let's draw this smaller window in here. Sorry about that. Okay. And so to do that, I'm going to go in here, line it up. Copy this guy to there. And while I'm here, I may as well put in the lines for the door as well, and the window it has. So I have all of these vertical lines intersecting now. As soon as I find the height of the window, I can put it in. Oh boy. Okay. So, from the top step, 1218, and then the window itself, I have to see here, 874, I'm going to guess, but I will check the schedule if you're going to do it. I just want to keep moving here so I can show you as much as possible. So 1218, yeah, 874, I can confirm. Okay, so from here, offset 1218. .874, that's our window. To keep it consistent, we can do a similar, let's get rid of this. All right. Offset 50. What else do we have here? And there's a smaller offset, okay. Offset 25. and then a line showing again which way the window opens. So the hinge is always on the pointy side. Now, I don't think the dashed line is working for me for this, so I'm going to go to hidden. Well, dashed. No, dashed is still fine. Okay. I'm going to fix these and make them the same type. There. Okay, so we've got that window in. It's got some kind of similar soldier course as the other stuff. I wonder if this roof is just drawn too low, because this looks like it's at about the same. No, it's a little bit different. Don't know. So we can draw. Bricks are well, we can look up the modular length of a brick, but anyway, let's do that quickly. Seven and 5/8 inches long. 25.4 millimeters, so 194 millimeters long, let's say. Okay, plus a bit of a mortar joint. So we're going to say 200 millimeters. I'm going to offset this or move this line up. $200 millimeters. Connect it here. Connect it here. Hatch. Okay. That doesn't look right. Okay. Well, we can play with it after if we want, but let's leave it for now. Back to our example. So the rest of this is all horizontally hatched. Last thing we have to do is draw in this door. The door width is that wide. What's the height? It doesn't give it to us. Usually 2200, I would say, minimum. So offset 2200. Whoa, what's going on here? Okay, distance. What's our height here? So we do have an issue here with our height somewhere. I'm not sure where I made a mistake, but we're consistently, things look a bit squished when it comes to this garage. So I would suggest you troubleshoot it accurately, but because I want to keep moving here and show you the rest of this, I'm just going to take a bit of a liberty here and bump it up 200 millimeters. Okay, I'm not sure if that's the right height. I must have made a mistake somewhere, but I trust you guys know how to troubleshoot at this point. Okay, there we go. Offset 2200. Let's get this door in. Okay. Now I can delete these lines, copy this rectangle, and I'm going to smush it horizontally to create that window. And now I can get rid of these extra lines. They clutter things up. Same thing here, that can go away. This step I think becomes quite a bit smaller. It's just the width of the door. So it just goes to be that big. Now for drawing the door and the window, we've done that a few times now with windows and door. It's just a different pattern. So I'm going to leave the decorative part to you guys. Make it look nice, but do any kind of door you want. It's not super important. So I'm going to throw in the brick hatch, and we are done with this part of the house. Moving on to the last part. Actually, I do have to find that line, that dividing line, which appears to be at the bottom, somewhere at the bottom of that garage level. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to grab this and go here. Okay, rotate this so it's horizontal. There we go. Switch the layer. Some kind of an interesting brick thing happening here that extends, I guess, beyond the house. Oh, there is a step back there, okay. So we should draw that line in as well. Right there. No other difference needs to be created there, because it's still a brick hatch on the behind it as well. I'm going to trim here. Done. Okay, so the bottom part of the house is finished. Now we can work on detailing the top part. We have an offset for the fascia board here. The fascia, the chimney I will leave to you guys to detail. Wanting in some kind of skylight, I'm going to leave that to you. It's mostly just done by eye. We do have to put this last window in. Not really giving us a whole lot of dimensions for that. We may have to guess it. Looks like the top and bottom of it is at least equal to the bay window. Then we will simply guess the rest of the width of it. Or maybe there is a table that would give us the width of it, but if there is, I'll leave it up to you. In the interest of continuing on, I'll leave that part to you guys. Okay, that window is not correct, but in the interest of continuing to show you stuff that I think would be useful, I'm going to let you work out the actual width of that window. Okay, so we have that. We need to offset for the fascia board. I would say that can be about 200 millimeters, and the fascia board goes in front of the chimney. So what we can actually do here is we can connect this line all the way to this line. and trim that and trim that. That should be correct, I think. No, and then one more thing. Trim. A mistake here. Okay, offset 200 for the fascia. Just freezing here a bit. Okay, here we have vertical siding, so I'm going to do another hatch. I'm going to make the spacing a little bit bigger. Let's try 60. Something like that looks good. Okay. And the house is mostly there. So I think the rest of it you guys will be able to do. You have to add the notation, so the section lines, the notes. Please build up the chimney and the skylight. Any other details that I've missed on here. I believe I made an error somewhere with the height of the garage roof and potentially the height of the bay window area, because it looks a little bit close to me. But that might be something, I trust you guys know how to troubleshoot that. So this is how you create an elevation though. So this elevation, other than putting the details onto it, is finished. And so if you want, we can now look at the other one. Oh, sorry, we still have to add this basement window here. Again, I'm going to leave that up to you guys. It's, use the dimensions you have there. If it comes to locating it horizontally, you may have to do an educated guess and do what you can there. When it comes to laying out the side elevation, we're basically going to use the same tools. So we will strike vertical lines, strike lines wherever we can from our floor plan. We'll use the vertical decisions we made from the existing elevation and apply them to this. And we will continue to do the same thing. So it is more of the same. So I think we could wrap this video up there. Do you guys have any questions, or would you like me? Is there anything you'd like me to demonstrate here? Sorry, I think I'm going to sleep here. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up there. There's nothing new in this drawing. It's more of the same method. So the outcome is different, but the method is the same. So in this case, see here we were pulling stuff down vertically. So we were pulling these lines down from here to find the windows and everything else. You will do the exact same thing, but here you're just pulling it off of the right side of the drawing. So you draw a floor plan here. I'll just quickly show you how I would start it. You would draw a line somewhere here. That's going to be your ground level. And here is the side of the house. So you draw that line. Here is the side of the garage. Okay. And here's the other edge of the garage. And there's the jog in the wall between the outside of the house and the garage. And so basically that would give you, right, this is the width of the garage up to here, I believe. That's the outside of the house. Did I pull it off the outside of the house? I did, I think. Sorry guys. East. Okay. So this can't be right. Yes, it is. My mistake. So this is the north elevation, that's the east elevation. The north elevation, it's the elevation of the building that is facing north. And so this is the elevation that's facing east. So. Okay, so that would be the exterior of the house. And then somewhere in here you would outline this. You should probably see just peeking out from the edge the bay window as well. That's correct. Okay, this looks more right. So basically you drew the house, I drew that line, I drew this line, and I drew the back line, and then we could find the chimney in that elevation if we needed. That's the bay window just peeking out from the front. And if I wanted to draw further, I could draw the column, which is in line with the garage. And so that's how you would start it. And you would basically pull as many lines as you could off of this. Even I would pull where the windows are, so you know at least in terms of the elevation, in terms of your horizontal, where the windows are. Same with this line to the garage. And then I would flip it vertical and start doing the vertical layers. So where's the second floor and the roof and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll pause this video and upload it immediately so that you guys have it.